We are ready for the semifinals of the Ranked Royale EU qualifier. Rxii continues his underdog run with a match against Joreuz. He's rising. Okay. We time out. Danner 69. Chat, here we go. The third round of the Ranked Royale EU qualifier as Rxii looks to try and slowly move himself higher and higher up the EU rankings. Because right now, he certainly started today underneath Toxic, underneath Atto, and underneath Joreuz. No doubt about it. But I have heard of a recent 1v1 player who, through the process of winning against similar opponents, was able to bring his rating up pretty darn high, and maybe Rxii can do something similar if he can keep up this run. Right now, he starts up 1-0 on Joreuz, going for the sidewall pogo, and somehow it did not get punished. I don't think he meant to do that bounce off the wall, but he does make it back before the Joreuz goal. Joreuz coming in as the #1 rated player in the qualifier. 3 players made it directly in: Moxie, Zen, and Luis P. Joreuz held that third spot for a while. It was Moxie, Zen, Joreuz as he gets a reset to get his first goal in classic Joreuz fashion. But I believe Luis P, who was not queuing, was able to take the spot from Joreuz, who queued and lost it. That's my understanding. I think Vacanus might have been able to actually watch the leaderboard a little bit closer than I could right before the deadline. And I want to say that Joreuz got a couple losses while already in the top 3. And now I don't know, Luis P might have also been queuing, because there's a good chance that players were trying to make sure they stayed ahead of someone else who's maybe queuing to, you know, overtake them. Joreuz queued 3 times and lost 3 times when Luis was not queuing. Wow. Crazy stuff, which means Joreuz now has to play through the qualifier. He did come in as a 1 seed, so he just needs to take down Rxii and then win whoever comes out of the other side, or sorry, beat whoever comes out of the other side, and then he's right back into that top 4. Certainly not as comfortable as the other 3 that were able to finish highest on the leaderboard. Joreuz is a guy, though, who doesn't play ranked 1s very often, and that's why I was really excited to see him look to play in the tournament, because it just means that some of the top 1s players were willing to give ranked the time of day, maybe just because of the tournament. And Joreuz for a long time was the pinnacle example of a player who was the best in the game and yet was sometimes not even rated in the top 100 because he just didn't really play it. But he certainly has in preparation for this tournament today. And is that going to unleash a whole nother Joreuz that nobody's ready for? We'll have to wait and see. Rxii had been good at the start of this game, trying to match Joreuz in a little bit of his theatrics, and ends up handing the ball for a freebie to go up 2. Rxii able to clear this double off the backboard and counter for a third. Yeah, the seeding for everything was completely decided by ranked, which was nice. It was nice for it to not be in my hands. In fact, a couple people who I appreciate even said thanks for the invite to the tournament. And I thought to myself, you invited yourself. You know, I appreciate the nice sentiment, but you're the one who grinded into ranked and made it possible to play. So thank you for playing the tournament. Joreuz winning at 50 at the midfield. Will corral this back to the net. Joreuz's tracker says he lost his last 5-1s games. That is a brutal finish to what would have otherwise been a pretty comfortable finish in the top 3, I imagine then. Or he could have lost 2, and then he needed to win, so he decided to keep queuing and maybe lost a couple more, and then was like, okay, I have to cut my losses now. I'm just going to be 4th instead of 3rd. Joreuz swinging wide as this ball bounces off the back wall. Dewey didn't have to worry about a Rxii follow-up. Skirkmans, thank you for the Prime. 2 months of Prime, contributing to that Prime to full-time movement, which I appreciate. Joreuz is just like me for real, dude. All right, this is a great dribble. Joreuz tried to pre-jump it. Rxii goes over the top and finishes with a double. Very mechanical play. But I love that Joreuz is just like me for real. I'm just trying to get one more rank. Let me just queue up one more game. It's my promotion game. Oh, I lost it. All right, one more queue. Okay, I lost that one too. All right, now I just need 3 straight. I just need 3 straight and I'm back. Oh, another loss. Certainly that's the last one. Certainly my next win is it. Another loss. Okay, all right, I'm done. All right, never mind. It's over. Except his ability to stop at only 5 losses is truly commendable. Joreuz is not trying to start this series with a loss. He's had a lot of midfield wins that have resulted in these free goals. He's been able to kind of convince Rxii to play his game, it seems. Joreuz backing off this one. No reason to go all in. Wait a second, Rxii, look at this pinch. He needed a pinch. Nothing else would have worked. He needed the ball in the net right now. He got to save all of his extra time to get a kickoff goal. Oh my goodness, Rxii, if he's able to do this. Rxii just refuses to give up. 20 seconds. Kickoff goal. This could be favorable for Rxii. Gets the boost first. Decides to take it in the air. No ceiling touch on the ball, which is perfect. The setup. The musty! Rxii! Absolute ice in his veins in the final moments. How does he keep getting away with it? He does it in style as Joreuz tries to wait on the goal line and react. 11 seconds. Still time for either one of these guys to win in regulation. Joreuz wants to make it non-theatrical. He wants a direct kickoff goal, but Rxii takes it to his back corner. Another dribble. He's got 60 boosts to work with. Does he keep this up in the air and in? Pogo shot! No, Joreuz slams it to the ground. It'll be overtime in game number 1. Neutral kickoff. Rxii going to come away with it. Taking it to his opposite corner, away from Joreuz. Back to his dribbles. He's looked good in the past few. Reset on the goal line. Gets in front of the ball. Joreuz has the save, but great landing from Rxii to potentially recover. Joreuz actually a really good pinch off the side wall in order to counterattack. Rxii bumps him. Rxii has an open net. This should be a Rxii goal, and it is. The back and forth in just 26 seconds of overtime does go in favor of Rxii, who absolutely stole this game with an unbelievable pinch to put himself within 1. And the most clutch air dribble we've seen in a while. Rxii up 1-0 in this best of 5. My goodness. Thank you, by the way, for the Prime, Tizmat. This is on par with March Madness. We are actually watching March Madness. Yeah, wait the timer. If you need a bit more, that's okay. Rxii's going to wait out the timer. To be fair, he won, which is like him just kind of icing himself out. So It's not as bad as if he had just lost and was trying to tell Joreuz to wait. He said he's been lagging all day, to be honest. And, well, ready up. Yeah, if you think it's good, ready up so you don't waste any good moments. Game number 2. If you haven't been able to watch the entirety of the Rxii run, we feel bad for you because it has been something crazy, although I think that last game was certainly the pinnacle. Can he finish it off? It's a long way to go. I saw this qualifier that I set up to all happen in one day, and I thought, man, if someone's going to make the run from the bottom bracket, that's going to be 4 best of 5s. It's certainly not going to be easy. And yet here Rxii is, trying to finish off his 3rd win. Has a long way to go, though. Just a single game win on Joreuz. And he wasn't exactly confidently taking it. Had to steal it last second. Rxii on the bounce. Joreuz not challenging him. Doesn't make his shot early. He sees Joreuz being passive. You see that turn away. Right as Rxii goes up, Joreuz turns back towards that back post. So Rxii knows to take back down to the ground. Pop it over the eventual challenge. Caspian, thank you for the 3 months of Prime. Kickoff win for Joreuz. While to air dribble is not targeted on the nets. Either way, Rxii able to intercept it. Rxii has been impenetrable when it comes to goal line 50s. What a shot from Joreuz, but Rxii had the read. No counterattack. Joreuz sends this one to the side wall. Rxii misses the midfield boost, which means he's forced into the back corner, but still he makes it back to save. He bumped into the corner just a bit, but it doesn't matter. He still has his long shot. Ooh, the ball rolls high. Maybe it did matter. If he could have gotten a couple more inches to not slam into the post, might have had a better angle. Joreuz, he was trying to set up a flick and then flop down on the ground. Did Rxii score this? No, again, he hits off the slight curve where the post meets the ground. Rxii, he just can't seem to get his 3rd goal. Joreuz just handed it to him. Certainly that's it. Joreuz wanted to start wall dashing, I believe, to try and get back with 0 boost. I think that was his plan here. See if he could wall dash his way all the way back to the ball. But instead, he backflips off. Joreuz. Eligible reset takes it all the way to the ground. Rxii was electing to defend passively. And I think Joreuz wanted to not just shoot it directly into him, was trying to wait until he felt like he could outplay, but that resulted in him just flopping down into the ground. Joreuz. Bit of a soft fake challenge, but it's enough for Rxii to give away control of the ball. Joreuz from the back corner. The pogo shot. Rxii has the read. How does he have the read on everything? I don't understand. These shots from Joreuz have done well to mix up and make it hard to defend. Joreuz gets a high pop on that pogo, but Rxii just has the read. He always has the read. He's, this time, only delays the goal for a moment. Joreuz is still able to score. Hootie hopping over from his side of the bracket. Hope you had a good time covering the games today. Much appreciated. Make sure you guys go check out Hootie who has frequently hooked us up in terms of helping us out with coverage. When's the North American portion? Later tonight, Elias Roses. Rxii taking this one directly into an open net. We have quite the banger of a series here on our side. Game number 1 finish is one of the best finishes I've seen to a game in a while. And all of it sort of hangs on the balance of Rxii being able to finish it out. Currently, he's on track to doing so. Up to game number 2. Rxii able to challenge and fall back onto the wall for the continuation. Maybe got a bit greedy there for a demo attempt, but Joreuz does not connect on the long shot. Rxii passes to himself in order to counter it right back. Joreuz undercut. These guys just going wall to wall. Joreuz will eventually score. Joreuz ceiling reset. This time gets enough power that Rxii is not able to stop it. We saw a similar shot earlier that Rxii maybe didn't go quite as high to the ceiling to prepare for, and he somehow still got the save. That's great movement from Joreuz. He pulls the defender up to ceiling height to match him on the air dribble, and then absolutely booms the ball back down low where they can't get to. Rxii, air dribble bump, connects with Joreuz to retake the lead. The scoring has been keeping up here late in this game. Even though there's a minute left to go, it doesn't feel like that goal was necessarily any sort of securing goal for Rxii. But if you can hold off Joreuz for just a bit longer, 40 seconds to work with, decides to just power on a shot that Joreuz will certainly save. Actually casually saves as he collects and has more than enough boost to work with. Joreuz will tie the game. I wonder if Rxii wishes he had controlled that ball instead of just slamming it as a freebie. Crucial kickoff now. Joreuz goes wave dash. Isn't quite going to be able to get an immediate shot, but does steal the back corner boost. Rxii in a good position to potentially get a clear with his 0 boost. He does force Joreuz all the way out to the midfield. Joreuz itches the ceiling just barely. Scratches the ceiling, I think is what I'm trying to say. Either way, 20 seconds. Somebody coming out with this game win. Will it be in regulation? Joreuz misses the midfield boost. Rxii gonna look to punish. Pops for an air dribble bump. Actually has to go back down to the ground and bumps Joreuz on the ground. Not often do you see somebody getting away with an air dribble bump like this, where they separate themselves that much from the ball and have to land back down, but he connects just enough with Joreuz. 6 seconds left to go. Joreuz needs something here. Rxii goes back to his pinch to try and secure the game. Joreuz has time. He can calmly collect this. The fake challenge got Joreuz to flick the ball, and Rxii will send it away. 2-0 for Rxii against Joreuz, trying to punch a ticket to the grand final of the qualifier. This has been quite the run from Rxii. Thank you for the gifted subs, Farah. A gifted sub to Lethal and Nugget. I appreciate that. Did we lose a Rxii? There he is. Game number 3. Joreuz and Rxii. Rxii had Toxic in the same position before Toxic was able to get 2 games back. Rxii did eventually clutch it in the final game. I believe it was a bit more back and forth with Atto. In fact, Atto might have been up 2-1. I think Rxii had to get 2 straight. Now, Rxii just needs to win 1 of the last 3. But who does he have on the other side of the field other than the guy who has pulled more wins out of the jaws of defeat than any player I've seen? Not only does he do it in series, he does it in individual games as well. Rxii still has the most impressive version of that, though, in Game 1 of this series. Things have gone awry for Joreuz. Anyone who said he's rising to the top and things have gone awry all deserve a nice timeout. Joreuz has decided to turn on sicko mode. Multiple resets to go over the top of Rxii. And the catch makes it 3-0. Joreuz cringe. That's insane. That is the craziest play I've ever seen called cringe. If a double reset over the top of a attacking defender in the air is cringe, then I don't think I know what's cool anymore. I think I've lost touch with the kids. Rxii able to get his first goal. Front flip sent high. You missed a save. Yeah, I noticed that. I looked away as I was trying to understand why chat was calling something cringe, and I think I missed an immaculate save. Wall to air dribble for Rxii. This is a great setup. Actually gets a soft touch, but sometimes that works. And this comes off the back of very successful flicks earlier in the series. This time loses a bit of power and makes it so it can drop underneath Joreuz. Oh, if the bracket says that Toxic beat Rxii, it's probably my mistake. I may have passed the wrong information on to the guy doing the Wikipedia. But I'm sure they'll have it fixed. The pair is back. The pair who did a VIP coin flip 2 weeks ago. Oh my goodness, what an own goal. There have been a lot of awesome own goals in my time as a Rocket League commentator, but this one is maybe one of the best. There was nobody around. Rxii was, on his way to the ball, I guess, to maybe make Joreuz feel some pressure, but he just taps it in his own net. Barely uncontested. Luckily, he makes it up for it right away. Oh my god. Okay. I feel like Joreuz was trying to make a point there with that flick. He did not need to get 113 kilometers per hour on it, but he did. All right, touche, Joreuz. The frustration shook off. Pinch. Trying to get a pinch back on Rxii. Oh my goodness. So much power. Joreuz slams it off the backboard. Rxii mistouch. And he's likely to get punished for it. Oh no, he bumps Joreuz past the ball. Just a bit too much float for Joreuz to be able to handle without Rxii interfering. Good plan B there from Joreuz to flip back onto the wall. Rxii, demo. Joreuz, a good spawn in order to get the save. And you don't see him passing up wall to air dribbles like this very often. Off the ceiling this time. Very creative touch on the ball to evade the defender, but also slams it over the top. This should be a goal. Even if the first one's not in, the follow-up will be. Joreuz with the lead. Joreuz not going to take a wall air dribble this time. Cuts around the ball. Flick to the left side of the net. Saved with ease. Rxii able to save with speed. Joreuz has been trying to get this, and I commend his constant attempts to do it. He has wanted a psycho in a 1v1 match for a long time. It's not going to be this time that he gets it. Instead, it'll be a tie game. Space 108th. Thank you for the prime. Joreuz steals the ball and the boost. He is going to make Rxii come get him as he slowly waits for the ball to bounce down. I think he ultimately didn't want the ball to come to a complete stop. He'd rather carry it than let it hit the ground. So he does ultimately decide to undercut the ball, and that ends up favoring Rxii as he's not able It's a low 50 this one. I think you saw him trying to back off there last second as Rxii challenged him. But instead, ball got taken past his car. It'll be another Joreuz low dribble with 1:15. To the air is Joreuz. Air dribble bump. All reliable. Comes back in the crucial moments. Rxii has been trying to be passive on defense and reacts to Joreuz when he's gone up for these air dribbles, and Joreuz takes advantage. Joreuz again, this time doesn't flick as it hasn't been working well for him. Instead, tries to hold on to his flip and maybe look to play off of a favorable 50, but that doesn't happen either. Rxii takes it off the top of his car for his 7th goal. It's been Joreuz controlling the play for the past 2 minutes, it feels like. Just been whether or not Rxii has been able to score out of defense, or Joreuz has been able to finish it off. No boost for Joreuz. Tough position here. With 45 seconds too, Rxii can play a bit of a starvation game if he wants to, although that might have been enough to get Joreuz 100 in the corner. Rxii looked to try and punish a potential boost grab, which didn't happen. So now Joreuz dribble. Rxii tries to challenge early. This should be easy for Joreuz to get. Yeah, I don't think Rxii is anywhere around after that high of a challenge. He did have a lot of boost to work with, so I thought maybe there's some world where he rushes himself down to the ground and gets back, but no. 25 seconds. Rxii, I'm sure he feels like he needs to win this one. Joreuz is not the kind of guy you want to let have a chance. And for all he knows, this could be his last opportunity to take Joreuz down in the game. Joreuz, long distance shot. Rxii punished for moving to the wall. Decides to go grab 100 boosts at the midfield to set up his defense. He thought he was going to be defending an air dribble, but he wasn't. Joreuz recognizes his defender is out of position. No reason to play into his hands. Instead, a shot over the top. Rxii, no way he continues to do this kind of magic, right? As Joreuz takes at least one game win. A win all in the final seconds to head us to game number 4. Ooh, Rxii looks like he's lagging again. All right, he readied up, already up. The Rxii reverse sweep. Wouldn't that be if Rxii got the reverse sweep? Game number 4. Joreuz and Rxii has been close in every single game, has it not? I don't think either one of these guys has been able to get a ton of separation on the other. Joreuz is about to throw a crazy clip on if he can score to start this one. That's kind of always been the Joreuz game. Looking for crazy clips. And usually winning in the process at the same time. Joreuz, little backwards wave dash, it almost looked like, into the ball there. Wait, is it going to let us see this again? This setup on the wall. Wow. Wait, am I looking at that right? Is that a reverse wave dash to set up that play? Which it doesn't. It seems like it would fight against his momentum, but oh, is it a diagonal front flip? And then his nose hits and that slams his tail back into the ground too. It would make more sense that way. Rxii's going to get a second goal as he escapes the back half. It's a speed flip with just his tail up. My ad manager just went blank. Hopefully you guys aren't getting ads. We should have been more than out of the range of ad life, so we should be okay. Joreuz, wall to air dribble, and falls back off the ball, threatening the backflip. Rxii flies over the top of the challenge. Oh, he actually did his best to stop his ascent as well. Still wasn't enough. 1,000 ads. No, the ad manager just reloaded. And I see that you guys have got just about 30 minutes before you get an ad, so. Rxii. Booming shot from the midfield. Sent back with just as much force off of Joreuz' own backboard. Joreuz trying to get a soft touch into the corner. It's going to be hard to evade. Rxii chasing him down, though. He does manage to do so. But a miss at the midfield is going to leave the net wide open for Rxii. These guys were playing at top speed, flying around the map, doing their best to try and gain control and look for these kind of long shots that Joreuz was hoping to finish off with there. If he connected, likely would have been able to put enough power on the ball that Rxii would not have been able to recover from the midfield. But instead, he goes flying past and lets Rxii have a freebie kickoff goal. The lead right back for Joreuz. Thank you, Deadfire Games, for the Prime. Another kickoff win to the wall. Not the best of setups for Joreuz. That's never really stopped him in the past. Ground pinch. Rolls the ball to Rxii. Hands the ball right back. Joreuz, goal line 50. Stopped out by Rxii. Rxii has had a really good defensive day on the goal line. He has been an absolute brick wall anytime someone tries to stuff it through. Joreuz into the back corner. There's that flip again to land to the wall, and it actually turns into a shot that Rxii can't get to. Go back and watch this from Joreuz' perspective. Just a quick dash onto the wall, flipping right as he connects with the curve in order to keep or even gain speed, and slamming a long shot for a 6-3 lead. We haven't seen any of these games get away from either one of them, and it seems like Joreuz on the verge of potentially pulling away from Rxii. Jessical, thank you for the 2 months of Prime. Appreciate that. Joreuz lean back into the reset. There's the 50. And even these, Rxii had been doing a good job of getting them out of his net. He finds himself a little bit past the play as he side flips. Joreuz, another 9-3. There it is. There's the forfeit. Rxii's had enough. I'll let this replay go in for no real reason. And we'll end the game. We're going to game 5 again with Rxii. Rxii trying to get the longest possible day here as he looks to make it to the grand finals with one more win. Joreuz trying to finish the reverse sweep. Rxii held off the reverse sweep in the first round as Toxic started to work his way back. But can he do it again? He was able to clutch out a very close game in game number 1. If it weren't for that win, it would already be over in Joreuz' favor. Now he needs just a little bit more of that magic that he's had all day. Rxii taking the ball in front of the goal line. Joreuz able to 50. He's hanging on to his 50 boost. wants to have something left to work with, and he uses that to get this wall to air dribble setup. Rye going to be forced back into net after grabbing midfield boost. Joreuz, the flick. Rye has the read. And how many times have we said that today? Joreuz with great power, great placement. I mean, really, you can't knock his shot very much. It scores on lots of defenders, but it has not been able to score on Rye today. Any shot from distance, Rye's been able to react to and save. It's been the mix-ups that have been able to find their way through. Rye up the ceiling. Joreuz going to decline that angle. So Rye takes back into his corner. Joreuz, fairly aggressive play. He tries to make something happen out of this corner. Have to feel confident that you're not going to ever leave the ball exposed for an unfavorable challenge, because that would leave you completely out to dry. But Joreuz just feels confident in his mechanics. Stay in the right position. Joreuz electing not to steal the back corner boost and not grab the midfield boost. Who needs it? I think Rye was expecting him to get it, so he didn't even path towards it, so it kind of works out. But Rye has 100 now. Joreuz looks to try and tap over the top of him, which is a great adjustment, and Rye just has the read. I mean, Joreuz has had so many different air dribbles that he's gotten resets on, which slows the ball down and makes it go low. Joreuz was looking to try and counter that by going quickly, and Rye flying underneath it, and yet still Rye gets the stop. But he's going to need some offense too. He can't just continue to defend the many Joreuz attacks. He needs to be able to get a goal, and this might be it. The long shot. What a defensive stand. Rye, how many saves does he have? Gets 4 saves in the process. I mean, I feel like every save was like a crazy save. 4 doesn't sound like a lot, but those were 4 saves, if you know what I'm saying. Joreuz with that dash again on the wall. Got a demo. Give himself a full field of space. And a flick fairly early in the direction that Rye is set up to save on defense. Joreuz is going to go the whole distance as Rye look to try and bump him on the back wall. Joreuz escapes and shows him why you don't try and demo him all the way back there. Will we see the scoring start now? We saw long, stagnant minutes of midfield play. Kickoffs have a way of resetting all of that. That bump, ooh, Rye tried to go all in. That's going to get him scored on. Joreuz gets a third. Rye really wanted this goal. He felt he should have had it. He went for an incredibly greedy dunk on Joreuz's clear. He let Joreuz take an easy one. Rye with space. Feels like such a crucial moment in this game where Joreuz has gotten a little bit of an edge and Rye's offense has been lacking, and if I'm right, and that was as critical as I felt it was, Rye getting absolutely nothing on offense and Joreuz countering could be a sign of what we're about to see at the end of this game. I think at this point, Rye has rallied quite a few fans in the chat who want to see the dream run continue. Joreuz was always going to be one of the toughest opponents. The air dribble bump keeps him in the game. Minute 10. If you don't believe in Rye to do this, you haven't been watching today. He's more than capable of making this kind of comeback, but it's going to have to come off kickoff wins, and Joreuz has won so many kickoff wins to the right wall. This time, no wall to air dribble from Joreuz, who's looking to try and ice out the win instead. He'll play on the ground. Rye able to dodge the bumps and maintain enough boost to play this dribble. He needs a reset just a little bit earlier in order to get Joreuz to miss. 50 seconds. Joreuz can't get to the ball in time. Does steal the back corner boost. So Rye is playing on very little. Forced to make an aggressive challenge here in the corner. And Joreuz is going to play keep away. Why not? He knows he has that advantage. Now a dribble that I imagine he plays fairly safely. He'll just launch an early shot at Ryan, prepare for defense, which works out as he's able to corral the ball, keep it in the orange half. Another reset, probably going to take a 50, as that is likely to stall even more time. Ryan needs to score on this take off the ceiling. The ball falls into a reset. The wave dash, no 50. Joreuz keeps it out. Ryan needed that goal, and he needed a kickoff miracle, and it didn't happen. Joreuz ends the magical run from Rye. GG's from him today. But Joreuz proves to be too much. The reverse sweep as he heads his way to the final. My goodness, guys. I feel like this always happens.